Honey, what time is it? Is it almost time? Because I got to be on time. You got to go out. Getting ready to start. Is this all on here? Alrighty, it's 6 o'clock. This is Parenting 101. I hope everyone had a great day today and hope everyone enjoyed themselves. I just have to get this screen situated here. I see my dear beloved husband is on. He's in the other room. So I'm just glad to be here again another week, alive another week. This is Parenting 101, and tonight's topic is about better late than never. Better late than never. I am just excited about what we're getting ready to talk about and how just going through life. I'm just going to give some transparent moments here. I'm going to be honest with you all, and I think that's very important for us to be honest with our children about the struggles that we have, about the things that we deal with on a daily basis, about just life in general. The reason I say that is a lot of kids go through life, they grow up, teenagers, becoming adults, and then life just hits them in the face and they have no idea what's going on. They don't understand the 30-day bill cycle. They don't understand how to write checks. They don't understand the banking system. They don't understand, although you buy a car, in order to buy a car, you may have to have a down payment. You're starting out, do you have credit? Do you not have credit? All these things. So I think it's very important for us to sit down with our children and allow them to understand our struggle, understand not everything, but, allow them to see and go through the process of life with you. The reason I'm saying that, again, this is a transparent moment for me because just this week alone, it's been rough, and not in the sense of not, being able to live life, home issues or anything like that. Just life, being life can be overwhelming, just bottom line. And because we understand that life is going to be life and life can be overwhelming, the idea of me saying to myself just this week alone, I just wanted to quit. I just wanted to quit. I'm not going to lie. I just wanted to just forget it. I'm done. I'm not doing Parenting 101. I'm not doing She, because life can be overwhelming. That's just the bottom line. So with life being overwhelming and us dealing with our children in those overwhelming moments, we get to a point where we don't want to deal with them. So again, this is better late than never, but I want to start off with how us as parents deal with life. And as we're dealing with and going through life, how we have days where we don't want to look at the kids. We don't want to, we're tired of the kids. I don't want to see you. I don't even want to hear your mouth. Okay? It gets like that. Just being honest. And that's the kind of week I had. Like my twins and my Justice, I love them to death. But the reality of it is sometimes I just want to pull out my hair because all day, I've been all day trying to get this done, that done, dealing with the children, that I don't want to look at my kids. I don't want to look. I'm at my breaking point at around 6:30. Actually at around 3:30, 4 o'clock. I'm screaming for help. I'm like, I can't take no more. I'm out of gas. I'm tired of saying stop, quit, don't do this, don't do that. It's just being honest. We as parents get tired, and we get tired of our children. We get tired. You get tired. It could be a phone call that comes in. A phone call. It could be merely a phone call that comes in that overwhelms the whole rest of your day, and you still have to deal with your children. So you get tired. So in those moments where you get tired, in those moments where you want to just fold, in those moments where you feel like, I just want to scream, I want to run, everybody's getting on your nerves, I'm tired of everybody. We need to be transparent with our children in those moments. Now, of course, not the younger children, but we need to allow the older adults in the older children in our life, the teenagers, to see the life that we live sometime and to understand life, because they're going to get out into the world and then it's going to be a problem. They're not going to know how to deal with life. My son, just in the last 6 months, bank account, getting in an ID, driver's license, small credit cards, teaching them how to walk through these steps. And he was very overwhelmed. I mean, extremely overwhelmed. Just going to the DMV alone with all the documents and all the stuff that they want, he was completely overwhelmed. He was just like, I have to do all this to get an ID. So you need to allow, but the reason why he didn't fold, the reason why he just didn't get completely frustrated and just say, forget it, is because I allowed him to see the process in my life. When he turned 11 or 12, I allowed him to see, okay, you're going to have to sit down. You're going to have to say to your children, bills are due every 30 days. That's just how these things work. You have to tell them how life is going to be. Because when they get to be 18 and they're just slapped with bills and they're just slapped with responsibilities, they're not going to never leave your house. It's going to take them even longer to grow up. So the better late than never is start training them young. Start showing them how to write checks at 11, 12, 13 years old. Start doing that. They need to understand that life is not peaches and cream. They need to understand that life brings about challenges. Life is going to be life. So you don't fold, you don't fall under, you don't crawl under a rock. So that means, as parents, we need to stick to what we say we believe. We need to stick to what we say we're going to do. Because if they see you going through life folding and not handling life on life's level, responsibly, with the right response, they're going to imitate what you do. Remember, I said last week, the soil that the children is grown in, the atmosphere that the child is grown in, the environment, is the household stable? All these things are going to affect how your child looks at life. So if you don't prepare your child by saying at 12, 13, 14, 15, hey, come with me to the bank. Let them see you do bank transactions. Look, right, honey. Let them see you do bank transactions. Let them see you go through life. So then when they turn 18, they're not just hit with life in the face and then don't have no clue on how to deal with life. So again, better late than never is, I don't care if they're 15. I don't care if they're 16 and you're feeling like, oh, I'm starting late. No, start sitting your child down saying and teaching them the way of the world. They need to understand life. Hey, Pumpkin. They need to understand life. They need to understand life, how it works. They need to understand, I got Justice right now. She sees her father and I getting up, going out every day. So now Justice at 3 years old is talking about, I need to go to work. I need to go to church. Your kids are going to imitate what you do as a parent, what you do in front of them as a parent, what you do in their atmosphere. So always understand this. It's never too late to start teaching your kids. Sit them down, talk to them. They need to know how to write a check. I know many of us don't use checks anymore. They need to know how to write a check. They need to know how to open up a bank account. Show them how to save money. I tell my kids all the time, we have a rule in the house. When it comes to budgeting, we have a rule. It's, whatever you bring in, your income. And this is just one of the examples I give them, because if you start teaching them this now, when they're turning 18 and 19, they need to already be in the mindset and hearing it repeatedly over and over again, because you can't save money if you haven't practiced that. That's not something that just comes. You have to practice these things, breaking those generational curses of, because a lot of times our parents didn't have a lot to leave us. So I'm looking at, the world that I live in now, if I don't have nothing to leave my children, if the Bible says we're supposed to leave an inheritance for their children and their children's children and their children's children. So I'm talking about generational wealth. So if your parent didn't hand you that, there's no excuses here. Maybe they didn't have it for whatever reason. If your parent didn't hand you that, then you have to make the best of your life. With that being said, what excuse are you going to have for your child? Are you going to make the best of their life? Because that's where it's at. It's not about the past. It's about the future. It's about, tomorrow. Every day you wake up, it's another chance to get it right. Every day we wake up, it's another chance to get it right. But if you don't prepare your children, if you don't prepare them for life, they won't be able to live life. They won't. Again, I said for me, life for me this week was very overwhelming. Very overwhelming. Not because of issues or something major like that, but just life being life, going through life and trying to get it all done. That's enough in itself. So again, my son turned 18 and I'm walking him through these steps. I've walked him through the steps before he turned 18. I've talked to him about the struggles. But even when he turned 18, he's a very responsible child. And still was just like, all this for ID? I mean, it literally took him 30 days to get ID. Not because he's been lackadaisical, but when he went the first time, they had all these documents. Then he went back. I mean, it's like, it's difficult. Living life is difficult. So you need to be there every step of the way with your child. Even when they turn 18. You got to go to the bank with them and open up an account. So this is what the principles of budgeting that I gave my children. And I hope that it works for them. When you have an income, say your income is $2,000. You can't spend $2,000 on clothes. You can't spend $2,000 on frivolous things if you ever want to get anywhere in life. Okay? It's never too late. That's right, Kiara. It's never too late. I don't care if your child is in their 20s and you have not taught them these principles. It's never too late. And if you haven't taught them, you probably are not walking out these principles yourself. It is never too late to get it right. So I teach them $2,000 come in. One, you got to pay yourself. So it's a 1/3 type of deal. 1/3 goes to you. 1/3 goes to saving. And 1/3 goes to splurging. Excuse me. 1/3 goes to saving. 1/3 goes to splurging. And 1/3 goes to bills. So I'm consistently paying my bills on time. I got money to spend when I want to spend it. And I have saved some money. Right, tithing too. Well, that comes out of, that's number one. Tithing is at the top. But when it comes to your income, when you bring in your income, after you've given your tithe or whatever you give to God, whatever you set aside for what he's given you, the next thing needs to be you paying yourself. And then the next thing needs to be you paying your bills on time. And then the next 1/3 of it needs to be saved, okay? So there's ways that you can teach your children at a young age how to save their money. But I guarantee you, you don't teach them, don't get upset with them when they're not paying their bills on time. Don't get upset with them when they're not exhibiting responsible actions and you have not prepared them for that. They have to be prepared for life. If you don't prepare your kids for life, yeah, Reverend's got jokes. I know, hallelujah, time for kids to see what grown life is about. Heck, my kids about to start paying 80%. No, they're not. No, they're not. But if you don't prepare your kids for life, don't look at them crazy when they don't know how to do anything. If you didn't prepare them, if you don't teach them how to cook, teach them how to clean, teach them how to keep their rooms clean. If you don't teach them these things, they don't know how to do it. So you can't get upset with them when they don't know how to do it if you haven't taught them. So again, better late than never. Teach them. Take them to the bank. Teach them how to save money. Teach them how to live with life. All right? So that's the first thing I want to talk about. The next thing I want to just say, I've noticed a lot, even on Facebook, a lot of friends and family are going through bereavement. And I just want to say this, that I am in prayer. People, it's been shocking. People have been just out of the blue, passing away. So I'm praying for those who are dealing with bereavement and dealing with, pain and, are dealing with, children who are going through pain. But I think it's a time and moment to talk about the need to get rid of discord and confusion between parents and children. I mean, with people dying like they are, with life doing what life does. We're going through life with bad relationships, going through months not talking to our children, parents not talking to their children, not having that communication. If there is a problem, if you and your child fell out about anything, if your child fell out with you, your child doesn't want to talk to you, or you don't want to deal with your child, please give them a call. It's time to break that cycle. People are dying every day. And you don't want to go through life having a problem with someone that's close to you, related to you, a child that you bore. So I encourage all of those, there's deaths going on. There's deaths going on. Major ones. And we're dealing with generational curses. We're dealing with everything you could think of, you name it, is happening right now in the world today. So it's not time to be not talking to your children. It's not time to be not talking to your parents. So I encourage you, please, 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 people, life is too short to hold grudges. Life is too short to have discord amongst family, amongst immediate family. Life is too short to have discord amongst brothers and sisters. If your brother and sister is if you're not getting along, call them, text them, do something. But don't get to the end of the day and then or go 4 and 5 years and you haven't talked to your family. Don't do that. Don't do that. Better late than never. Yes, time has went by, and a lot of us are fussing, feuding, and fighting for reasons that we don't even remember. Reasons that are not even worth it. So please, please, if you are arguing, fussing, fighting with anyone in your immediate household, the children that you bore, you cannot have friction and be a parent. You can't have friction and be a good child. You can't. One end of the spectrum is going to be tilted, and we have to have a good balance. So in order for us to have a good balance, relationship is about a good balance. In order to have a good balance, there can't be discord. There can't be discord at all. One second, something's going on here. One moment, you all. I think my YouTube is doing something. But there can't be discord. It can't. It will never work. So go back to that friend zone time. If there's friction and tension in the house and you can feel it, because most of the time you can't feel it. No one even has to say anything. You can feel it. If there's tension in the house, then there needs to be a friend zone moment. Hi, Shanta. Hi, darling. How are you? There needs to be a friend zone moment. Yes. All right? So again, better late than never. Better late than never. Okay? We've been dealing with a lot of deaths in our immediate families. People are leaving here. They're leaving here quickly. Just speedily. Not even sick. Just dying. So we need to stop. We really need to stop. If there's discord, if there's confusion, if the last time I talked to you as my parents, it didn't end on the right note, don't go to sleep with that. Don't go to bed with that. If it didn't end on the right note, call them. Call your parent. Call your child. If it didn't end right, because you cannot have a good relationship with your children not talking to them. You can't do that. And there's too many people dying daily. We say we love each other, but the moments that we have to talk and get it right, we don't. We just let time pass by for whatever reason. We become impersonal people. We got cell phones now, so we don't have conversations. We have conversations through text message, and there's no tone in texting. So it can always be misconstrued. It can always be taken in a perspective that is not intended. So get off the phones. Stop texting. Get face to face with your mother. Get face to face with your father. If you need to, get face to face with both parents. Parents, get face to face with your children. And get whatever the issue is right. Get it out. If it's something from your childhood, get it out. Be free. Let this be the year that you decide, I'm just going to let it all go. Whatever my dad did or didn't do, if you're not willing to talk about it with that person, then you need to let it go. Because life is just too short. And we're concerned about, losing people, and we're concerned about, people's health and things like that. But on a scale when nothing is going on, when there's no circumstances, when there's no issues, because we're quick to run to family, and we're quick to run to our children, we're quick to run to our parents when things are going wrong. We're quick to do that. But how about creating a relationship that is just cool at all times? We don't have to fuss, we don't have to fight, we don't have to argue. Us as parents, we don't have to try to control the child. Because we do that. Not talk at the child, but talk to the child. But that needs to happen. So it's better late than never. So again, I'm going to go back. Be transparent. Be transparent about how you feel at the moment. Understand you're not going to always want to be around your kids. You're not going to always want to deal with you. So take moments out the day to go breathe. Parents, trust me, you need it. 5-10 minutes to just regroup and come back. Because a lot of times we're dealing with our kids. We're frustrated. We're upset. Even in my household, we have a wide age group. But sometimes we all get tired of each other. Sometimes we all are so glad that we all go to different places for the weekend because life is already overwhelming. Sometimes you need that time to go away and then come back. So although the child doesn't live in your household, if they're over 21 or over 18 or whatever the case is, it does not mean that you can't have a good relationship with them and not talk at them, but talk to them. They want to hear your advice. It's all based on how you give it. They will listen. Children will listen to your advice. Children will listen, but it's all based upon how you give it. My husband says to me all the time, it's not what you say, it's how you say it. So if you want something to be taken respectfully and taken as it's intended, you can't text it because there's no tone for text. When you're trying to get it right, yes, it is all about the approach. When you're trying to get it right with your child, think about your child. Think about them and how your child is and what's the best way going about responding to whatever the situation is. But consider your child and consider that child is not like another child. Because oftentimes we do that when we're dealing with our kids. We deal with them all like they're all on the same level. It's all the same, but they're not all the same. So again, when you're dealing with your child, it's never too late. It's never too late to get something right. People are dying every day. It's never too late to get something right. All right? Another thing I wanted to talk about was the importance of spending time, couples, married couples. It's important as parents that you make time to spend time. So what I'm saying is, us as married couples, most of the time the husband and wife spends time in the evening time, so that means that you need to be bedding your children at correct hours. Okay? They need to go to bed at correct hours. When you're dealing with your children, you got young children and you're dealing with people that are married couples, boyfriend and girlfriend. We know we're not supposed to be shacking up, but I'm not here to talk about that. When you're a couple, when you're in a relationship and you have children involved, it's very important that the children have have scheduled bedtimes. It's very important that the children's lives are on schedule. Because it goes back to the first thing I was talking about. How just be transparent with ourselves. We don't always want to deal with our kids. Because we don't always want to deal with ourselves. So that's just being very transparent. Like, you've had that long day at work. I'm already dealing with a lot. I'm dealing with the household. I'm dealing with, the needs of the household. So when I get off work, when I come home, I'm not really in a space to deal with the child. I'm not really in a space to even, my mind is not even on how was your day. And so these are the things that we have to pull back from and say to ourselves, you know what? We got to plan our lives out. You can't just, a lot of us just wake up and we just go through life and we just freestyle it. You can't freestyle life when you got kids and a family. You can't freestyle life. So that means when you go to bed at night, before you go to bed at night, and please forgive me, I'm actually looking at two screens. Before you go to bed at night, you need to be writing out what you're going to be doing or need to accomplish the next day. Before you go to bed at night, you need to be writing out what you need to accomplish the next day. Again, life is going to be overwhelming, but it can only be overwhelming if you allow it to be. So you have to start planning out your lives, especially when you have children involved. You won't get enough time for yourself, and then you won't have enough time for them. Again, everything takes balance. You don't want to be too far to the left or too far to the right on anything. So everything takes balance. So in order to balance your life when you have children, when you have a family, for no one to get neglected, for the spouse to not get neglected, for the children to not get neglected, you have to plan out your life. What does that consist of? Meaning like you got to plan out your life. I have tons and tons. I have like 4 or 5 notebooks that every day I'm touching them. You have to plan it out. So the night before, you have to find out, okay, who needs to go where? Who needs to get what done? What do I need to get done? What do I need to get done for the husband so that there can be family time when you come home? A lot of us, we're leaving at 6 o'clock in the morning. We're not getting home till 9 o'clock at night. What type of relationship can we create with the child? We can't. So who's teaching the child? The internet, the TV, the phone, the video games. Whatever it is they like to do, whatever it is they do when you're not giving them your time, because a lot of times, again, like I said, we're leaving out early in the morning and then coming home late, and then we're all in the house, just everywhere. We have no structure to the home. You cannot go through life with a spouse, with a family, and have no structure in the home. It's not going to work. Someone is going to get neglected. It's a guarantee. So if your children need to know that you care. They need to know that when they come home from school, don't be so overwhelmed as a parent. Don't be so overwhelmed with your life that you're not asking them, how was school? Did anything happen at school? Did the teachers treat you right? Because we deal with that. All the teachers that are in the schools, they're not all there for the right reasons. Everybody's not a teacher because this is my passion. This is what I want to do. I want to see the kids' lives transform. That doesn't happen. But if you're not talking to your child daily because you're so busy and we're not scheduling time, something is going to get neglected. And then whatever is neglected, that's the relationship that's going to fail or falter. And when relationships are weak, anything that comes on the scene can shake that. When you're not solid in your relationship, think about relationships with husband and wives or boyfriends and girlfriends. If y'all not solid, if I have a trust issue, if my communication is off, then anything that comes my way, anybody that comes in can steal my attention. So we're wondering why we have so many young girls who want to decide to talk to the older man. We get in relationship. A young girl. I was that young girl. I can tell my own testimony. I was 13 years old. 13 years old. 15 years old with a 25-year-old. I'm not kidding you. 15 years old, I was dealing with a 25-year-old. How did that happen? How did I get in that atmosphere? And I can't blame that on my mom. I can't, because the reality of it is this. And after a 25-year-old, you all, and I'll tell that testimony in the book that I'm writing, but the bottom line is I didn't feel as comfortable going to talk to my mom about it. And I must say this. At the time, I was thinking, oh, she not gonna understand me. She not gonna. But the reality of it is, it was a moment. I was 15 and I was doing adult things at 15 that my emotions were not ready for. So if I'm not having a good relationship with my mom, where I knew it was wrong, I knew it was wrong. I knew it. But oh no, I'm not going to tell my parents nothing. Because are you going to judge me before I even get it out? Are you going to criticize? Are you going to, or are you going to ask, how did I even get in that space? Because the reality of it is, when we sin as teenagers, and when your kids do things, it's not like they're just waking up deciding, this is what I want to do. I just want to just get up today and I'm just deciding to just, I'm just going to act a fool. I'm just going to act up. I'm not going to obey my parents. No, that's not the case. You got to go back to what you were thinking and what you were doing at that age. Be more patient. Be more transparent. I have so many children who inbox me, who talk to me about the situations that they're dealing with that they can't tell their parents about. And it's not my job to tell the parent, but I'm heartbroken about it, because we have to create spaces for our children to talk, and not just the parents. It takes a village. Everybody, listen, aunties, uncles, it's going to require that. Then and only then will we not have R. Kelly issues. Then and only then will the sex trafficking stop, because the reality of it is, the way it's starting is because your child can't talk to you. Your child has no outlet. So they're looking for love in all the wrong places, and in the wrong places that they're looking for love at, by the time you find out what they're doing, because you're so busy, you're so swamped with life, and you're not scheduling out life. You're not making a plan. You're not going after a goal. We're just fearlessly just bobbleheading through life, just merely existing, walking around, just going through life, not understanding that there's a meaning to this thing. And when you understand that as a parent, you understand that your child is watching your every move, everything you do, everything you say. So a lot of times the respect level is not there because you're not lining up with what you said you're going to do. We tell our children, oh, I'm going to spend time with you. We tell our children, oh, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. And we don't even keep our own word. We don't even keep our own word. We're so quick to deal with other people. When you're supposed to be at work, you're at work. Anything else we're involved in, we do. So how important is your own child? How important is it important for you to make time? You need to know what they're thinking. How are you going to send them down the path of their gifts and talents if you don't even know them? You don't even know who they are. And a lot of times we don't know who they are because we don't know who we are. So we got to get to the point where we decide, you know what? My child, what's going on in my child's head, how my child responds, the decisions that my child makes. If my child is responsible, if my child is ready to leave at 18, because the Bible says that you have trained your child right when they're coming to you talking about the responsibilities of being an adult before they become an adult. That's what the Bible says. The Bible says that if your child is not coming to you talking about the responsibilities of becoming an adult around 16, 17, and 18, you haven't trained them right. Think about it. It's just like when we're at church. If I have ministers and children, if I'm the leader, I'm the parent, and I have children, if I don't prepare my children, I'm supposed to be equipping them to go out. So what do you think is supposed to be for your household? You're supposed to equip your child to go out. You're supposed to equip your child. And how you equip them? Teach them how to live life. Teach them how don't teach them the stigma, we're African American and we're just, no. No, don't teach them based on the struggle. Teach them from a perspective of being free. And if you teach them how to live life, how to manage their money, how to, when you get a job, how to understand that the job is just the tool to become, but knowing that you need that job to make that money, to become what you're supposed to become, to invest in all that you're supposed to become, you got to get up and go to work. You got to be on time. Your hygiene got to be right. These things we miss out on because we're so busy as parents. So who's teaching the child? The child's teaching the child. And what they're learning is what the TV is teaching them. Subliminal messages, people. Internet. The phone. A lot of times, listen, I do random phone checks. I pay the bill. You need to be doing random phone checks with your kids. And don't tell them you're checking your phone. Just say, give me your phone. I'm about to check it. You need to know what they're talking about. I told y'all last week, you shouldn't have kids. And even nowadays, kids over 21, because girls has been found in anywhere. So kids over 21, you need to know who they hanging out with. I almost find out what the Social Security number is. It almost get that serious. Because I need to know your first and last name. Because what if you with my daughter and you riding in the car with my daughter and then she end up in Timbuktu? And I don't know, I don't know your first name. I don't know your last name. I don't even know who you are. So you need to be talking to your children about who their friends are. Meet them. They're at young ages. They don't understand. If you're teaching them in Christ, and this is not about religion, but if you're teaching them on a path, they don't understand discernment yet. They have not dealt with people enough to understand the manipulation of people, and it's real. People will sift you like wheat. They will take everything you got if you allow them. So with that being said, you need to be finding out who are your children hanging around. Who are they dealing with? We got to understand, listen, this world is evil. It's a lot going on. But we down. We have to slow down our own life and what we've got going on. That we never spend time with the child. I understand we're living these type of lives where we feel like we got to have 15 jobs. How they say, 3 jobs. We got to have 1 million jobs. But you got to balance life out. If you are a parent, maybe one parent needs to have the second job. But somebody needs to be home with the child. Somebody needs to be spearing the child, rearing the child. And you just don't rear the child from your lips. You rear the child from your life. A lot of times, I'm not throwing no shade, but if a child is obese, it's the parent's fault. If your child is obese, it's the parent's fault. Discipline. You bought food. They didn't buy the food. You bought the food. So if you don't teach your child discipline on their eating habits, their health, most parents, and this is no shade on anyone, but most parents that are heavy set, their kids are too. It's inevitable because you guys are eating the same thing. You're eating the same meals. So if you're looking at your child and you're looking at, they're getting real big and obesity, it's the discipline. It's the discipline. So again, like I said last week, the discipline that your child sees in the home, the atmosphere that they're raised in, the soil that they're raised in is going to be the very thing that they do when they grow up. So if you don't like what you see, 21, 22, 18, you don't like what you see. And I'm not saying that every child that makes a decision that the parent didn't teach them. I'm not saying that. Because there are children that the parent taught them right from wrong and they're just choosing to do wrong. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about when your child is underage and he's a minor, you're responsible for him. You are. So whatever they get into, whatever they're doing, it's your job to make sure that you're a good steward over your child. It's your job. So you have to be good examples, good mentors. So if your child is obese, it's the parent's fault. If the child is at school and the grades are extremely bad for long periods of time, because it's our job to ask our children, do you need help? Do you need help with your homework? Do you need a tutor? But we're so busy. It's better late than never. Today, you can just decide today, you know what? You can decide today, if I have a problem with my child, if me and my child are not speaking for whatever reason, let's get back on speaking terms. At least. And don't talk at them, talk to them. I guarantee you, your children that are adults, they want your love. Every child does. They want your love. Every child wants the parents' love. So they're not going to reject you if you're coming in a right manner. I promise you. A lot of times they reject you. They don't want to hear what you got to say because you're yelling at them. Some of us, you may be cussing at them. You may be fussing at them. And you haven't dealt with the root of the problem. And the root of the problem could just be simply a communication. The root of the problem could simply be that there was a misunderstanding. It was taken in the wrong perspective. So now on both ends of the spectrum, it's a problem. And we're letting hours, days, months, years go by not talking to our parents. Hours, days, months, years go by not talking to your children over a disagreement, over a misunderstanding. Life is too short. I promise you. Life is too short. And people are dying daily. So again, better late than never. Get it right. You ought to want to be a better you every day you wake up. Honestly, if you waking up deciding, tomorrow I'm going to be worse, and nobody's waking up deciding that. Nobody wants their life to be worse. Everybody's waking up like, regardless if I feel like it or not, because you don't always feel like it. You don't always feel like waking up dealing with life. But you got to, or unless you're just deciding to die. So if you're deciding to die, you wouldn't be talking. You wouldn't be here. You wouldn't be breathing. So you're obviously decided to live. So live. Live. Get the relationships right with your children. Get it right. Figure it out. Find a common denominator. Find a middle ground. So that your child and you can have a good relationship. So that we can cut out future situations and circumstances happening when it could have been nipped in the bud at the beginning. Trust and believe your child will come to you when the problem is at the end, and then now we got to figure it out. When she could have came to you, or he or she could have came to you at the beginning. We could have fixed the problem a long time ago. If your issue is depression, if your issue is you feel suicidal, if your issue is, you know what, I just don't know who I am. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know who I am. I don't know what I'm doing. But listen, life is too short. Yes. Kids are kids. They're going to be kids. Let them be kids. You be the mature adult. If your child don't want to talk to you, it don't matter. Text them anyway and tell them you love them. Because the bottom line is this. Something happened to them, we all be sick. You be the first one, can't breathe, can't eat, can't nothing. So is whatever the friction, is it worth whatever time and space? Because guess what? You cannot get that time back. And I'm praying we need more families in the church. We need more families in the home. So I'm praying for families. I'm praying. But allow your child, the ages of 13 to 18 are so crucial. They're so crucial when it comes to your child making decisions. So every decision that they're going to make is going to be based on what you've shown them. It's going to be based on what you've taught them. Right or wrong. It might be that your child decides, I'm not going to be nothing like my parent because they're just the worst. Or then you have the child, I'm going to be just like my parent because I see the progress, the success. A lot of times our children don't respect us because everything that we've been talking to them about from here, we don't walk that out. And that's not fair. Because when they come back to us to say, well, I didn't see you doing that. Then we get upset. We don't want to receive what they're saying. So go to that friend zone and allow your child to talk to you about how they feel. A lot of them deal with rooted issues. I was one of those. I was one of those children. I can honestly say a year ago, I've been having a relationship with my mom. I love my mom to death. She's always done all she could for me. But there was always a gray area based on just some things that happened in my life that I just felt like, but you wasn't there. You didn't protect me. You didn't defend me. You didn't defend me to people. I wasn't old enough to defend myself. You didn't cover me like I needed you to cover me at that moment. And you know what she told me? Once I told her that, and we were both crying, booing. It was a magical moment that needed to happen because her response was, you know what her response to me was? All these years, I didn't know. All these years, I didn't know. I had no clue. And all these years, I had something in my heart against my mother that I didn't even want there and didn't understand why it was there until I, dealt with myself. So I had to step back and say, you know what? Maybe it's not all on her. I could have took better steps of saying to her a long time ago that this was an issue. So why did I take I'm 38 years old. Why did I take 38 years to tell my mom how I felt about a certain... Why did it take 37 years? And now the relationship is a bond that, it's here's my uncle, y'all, again. I love you, Uncle Seymour. I am talking to you right now. I'm going to talk to you when you get out here. Y'all, there's my Uncle Seymour, y'all. I love him. Y'all, if y'all in Pittsburgh, I think it's Pittsburgh, y'all get down to Solomon Temple, my uncle be flowing, helping Victor Bryce, Pastor Victor Bryce, my goddamn flow the service. So y'all, if y'all in Pittsburgh, get on down there to the Solomon Temple Church. They have it going on down there, and they're preaching the word of God. So anyway, I had to... anyway, but yeah, talk to your children. Talk to them. And maybe, and I want to talk to the young people because I see it's a few of y'all on here. Listen, don't blame your parents for everything. You can't blame them for everything. If you're not willing to talk, they don't know. When my mom told me that, she just didn't know and was able to explain why she did what she did. She was able to explain, like what was her reasoning for, the response that she gave me at the moments that I felt like she wasn't there. And when I got down to the bottom of that and I understood, you know what? It's kind of like a burden was lifted. I felt so free. And now I hugged my mom and I spoke with my mom and I communicated with my mom with no gray areas. And again, it was a gray area that I didn't want to make, but as a child, I didn't understand. So pain was attached to me when it came to my mom, but not because of her knowing. No parent wants to hurt the child. No parent wants to hurt the child. So if you have rooted issues and you have not talked to your parents about it, you need to have a sit-down conversation. You need to free yourself. If your father wasn't there, he said, I see you going nationwide. Uncle, I love you. I so do. I'm just trying to help the people. And I really do, Uncle. I pray about what I need to talk about, what is a good topic for the week, because I want to be in tune with what's happening and what people need to hear. I don't want to just be on here for nothing. But again, talk. These young people, they deal with a lot. They go through a lot. Trust me, they inbox me. Some of you parents, you have no idea. Your kids are inboxing me. And I wouldn't tell that because I want to create that space. That's what Project She is all about. Creating, bridging that gap. We got to bridge the gap. We have to bridge the gap. If you're a lady and you're in the ages of 35 to 50, find you a young person. Please, find you a young woman that you can mentor. I don't care if she has a mom. Trust me, it's always needed. Mom can't be there all the time. Mom can't do all the time. Mom may have other siblings that she has to take care of. Yes, uncle, peer pressure, it is real. Mom can't be there all the time. So it takes an auntie. It takes an older sister. But let's bridge that gap. If you're a grandmother, again, if you're in the ages of 45 to 50, if you're in the ages of 40 to 50, find a young person to mentor. Pray about it. God just gave me women this week that I have to help. It's no option. Whatever they need, young women, financially, spiritually, mentally. We are disciples for Christ. We're supposed to be discipling every day. That's what this is all about. Each one teach one. That's what this is all about. Serving each other. That's what we're here to do. That's what the kingdom is about. It's not about the four walls. It's about how can I help somebody else. And yes, I'm going to say the kingdom because it's in my pores. It just ekes out. But the reality of it is, outside of religion, outside of even the spiritual realm, the reality of it is, on a base level of it, the common denominator is how your children view you, how they deal with you, the relationship they have with you, and vice versa. It's going to be based on how you deal with them. It's going to be based on the patience. It's going to be based on, did you take time with me? Did you teach me? Did you show me? Kids don't know about hygiene until you teach them. They don't know. Did you teach them how to wash some clothes? Did you teach them how to not put all the clothes together? Did you teach them how to sort clothes? Do they understand that whites don't go with colors because they bleed? Did we? Come on here. So whatever your child looks like right now, I guarantee you, 95, I would say about 80% of it is based on you. Whatever they're doing, whatever they're saying, their speech. I teach my kids, my young children, Justice, Jaden, and Jordan says, yes, ma'am. No, ma'am. Put a hand on it. That's what my mama used to say. You don't. Auntie, uncle. Then you say the name. I don't care if the auntie and the uncle is 12, because these days aunties and uncles be about 15. But you say auntie and uncle. Yes, ma'am. No, ma'am. Thank you. They funky until you teach them to wash their behinds. That's right. But you got to teach them how to say yes, ma'am, and no, ma'am. My 3-year-old, my 2-year-olds say thank you, you're welcome. I don't even give them nothing. What you supposed to say when somebody gives you something? Yes. So if you teach them that, when they turn 7, 6, 7, 8, 9, this is going to be a no-brainer because I've been doing it. I teach them how to, no, pick up your toys. I ain't picking, you pick them up. So if you teach your kids discipline in their adult life, they will be disciplined. If you show them that you're not responsible, if you show them that your word is not your bond, if you show them that you don't handle responsibilities well, if you show them that you don't respond the Christ-like way, if you're saying that you're in Christ and that you live for Christ, but everything that you do is the opposite of that, what respect can you get? So don't be upset when the soil that they were grown in, the soil that they were grown in produces junk. What was the seed like? What was the seed? Did you fertilize the ground? Did you water it? Did you give the ground its nutrients? It's like a child. Did you nurture the child? These things have to happen. So again, better late than never. If you have not done it, start. If you've been doing it, I applaud you. We need to have conversations. Your child needs to be comfortable coming to talk to you. I don't care if they're 40 years old. I know 40-year-old people ready to commit suicide. We need to talk to our children. Yeah, you got to show them, right, you'll either show them how to pay bills on time or you'll show them how not to pay bills on time based on your life. If you're unstable, your kids are going to be unstable. Expect it. It's automatic. And it don't even have to be like a spiritual thing. You know, a lot of times we make things so spiritual. Oh. No, the reality of it is they're watching you. They're watching what you're doing. If you're saving money, 9 times out of 10, there'll be children that save money. If you have good credit, 9 times out of 10, if you taught them, if you walked them through how to have good credit, if you taught them how to budget, if you taught them how to, well, we don't have checkbooks no more, but if you taught them how to, do online banking, how to watch, check to make sure you had the money before you spend it. You don't have it, you just don't have it. You do without it. Or you budget the next time to do the frivolous spending that you want to do. But the reality of it is, every child, again, and I got about 4 more minutes. Your children, if they don't look like what you want to see, you need to change something. If your child doesn't look like what you want to see, something that you can be proud of, something with them needs to change. And if that is not the case, if your child is going through something, they need to be able to come talk to you. You need to talk to them and not at them. Allow them to have the friend zone where they can be in a place where they can be free to talk to you with no judgment. No judgment. Don't even give them the funny look. Because a lot of times we as parents, we know how to give a look. Although I'm allowing you to talk, I'm not saying nothing, but all my actions, my whole persona, my whole looks like I don't even want to hear what you got to say. I'm not giving you a space where you even feel comfortable to let out the feeling. What if what my issue was, it hurt me so bad I just needed to cry? What if I just needed to cry? So please, my last encouragement, it's better late than never. Get it right. If you're not talking to, people are dying every day. If you're not talking to your children for whatever reason, it don't matter. It don't matter. And don't text them. Texting has no tone. It's impersonal. You had the child out your womb. Don't text your child when there's a problem. If you feel, and pray, be in tune with the Spirit enough to know even if your child doesn't say what the problem is, you can look at them and tell. Don't be so busy with life that you're not in tune. You have to be in tune. You don't be so busy with life that you're not in tune. God bless you. I love you. This is my passion. I want the people of God. I want everyone under the sound of my voice to be impacted and affected by me doing this talk, because not for me, but I just want us to have better relationships with our children, better relationships with our parents, so that we can create that family thing that we used to have, that families back in the churches. We need to see families. We need to see mom, dad, and children working together. We need to see that. We need to see more family atmospheres. In order to do that, we got to communicate better. In order to do that, we have to talk. I love you much. This has been just amazing. Every time I get on here, I get encouraged. I just thank you. Although my week was overwhelming, I do not allow that to stop me from doing what God has called me to do. And don't allow that to stop you from doing what God has called you to do. So again, I'm on here from 6 to 7. Get me next week. And to be honest with you, I don't know what the topic will be next week. I consult the Lord about what it is I am to speak to you about, so that I can really be in tune And for those that get on here, I know he can speak to me about what your needs are. But I just want the people of God and us to have better relationships with our parents and with our children, so that we can create atmospheres and platforms and friend zones and time and spaces and dispensations for them to be honest with us, so that we can help them with their future, help send them down the right path, and be better examples for them. This is the year to be better. Just be better. Just know in your heart, you know what? I'm just going to make an effort every day. Every day I wake up, it's another day for me to be better. So, in every area of your life, allow God to penetrate for you to be better. I love you much. I'm going to get off here, and I will see you all next week. Same time, same place. Heck of people.